Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's Takes with Alex. I am your host, Alex. It's a privilege to be here with you today. Today we have a good one. They're all good, so that claim is easy to make. The title of this video is The Long Journey Home, Societal Evolution, and the Ultimate Redemption. Okay? Society was and has been going through profound transformation, peaks and troughs throughout history. We had, you know, great times, then we had dark times, then we had times of illumination, and then, but none of these things just happened by chance. Groups of people, pockets of, you know, society, the global society at different times stood up against the oppressors that sought to diminish the light, diminish the evolution, slow and slow down and tamper the cycle of evolution. Um, we just celebrated Independence Day here in America, July 4th, and that is an example of a group of people, a pocket of the global society, standing up against oppressors who sought to contract the growth of the people of the colonies at the time. And, I mean, what did they sought to tax them, heavily on their livelihood and prevent them from spreading and growing and expanding, right? And you look at the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, different periods of times for different reasons. But usually it's a plight of the people seeking a better, more illuminated way of life against a often oppressive, tyrannical form of government that seeks to control by um, squeezing the people, making it hard for them to uh, pursue self-expression and self um, actualization. And ultimately, if you just let the course run out, like if you ran like a simulator, the ultimate pursuit is the spiritual pursuit because that is the highest quality of man and woman. Man is just a general term here of the human person. So we spoke about that and the dangers of communism, and how communism is a system that tries to um, sell you a life of comfort at the expense of giving up your autonomy to pursue self-expression, forcing you to buy into a collective expression, which isn't really collective; it's just kind of manufactured and uh, forced upon by a few people that just have the control of the means of production. Or I mean, really, that's what it is, right? If you control the food supply, the money supply, the work supply, the supply of knowledge, of information, right? I mean, how many points throughout history have groups of people burned down, libraries containing, ancient wisdom, or stolen artifacts or stolen different types of sources of information from the people and locked it up in their basement. Um, And I mean, it's kind of like that Mad Max scene, you know, or the Book of Eli, right? It's like the world is like a chaotic like wasteland, and then like only a few people who just happen to have the means of control the means of production choose to control by withholding information and means resources. So anyway, but we're getting past all that. We're moving forward, thank God. Um, so without further ado, history is not random chaos. Beneath the rise and fall of empires, the struggles of nations, and the long arc of human progress lies a deeper story, a spiritual journey toward redemption. From the first exile in Eden to the final return to wholeness, humanity is moving, sometimes slowly and painfully, toward a world filled with divine light. Now remember, that was Eden. Eden was an enjoyment of the garden with a just elevated appreciation and connection and understanding of God and his ways in this world, right? Today we explore the spiritual significance of the flow of societal evolution throughout history and the ultimate redemption it points toward. This teaching is universal for every person who senses that despite all the brokenness, something greater is unfolding. Rooted in the eternal Torah and illuminated by profound hope of Hasidic masters, we will see how every era, every struggle, and every advance is part of the great return to oneness with the divine. The Torah reveals history as a recurring pattern of exile and redemption, a, a expansion followed by a contraction followed by an expansion. It begins with Adam and Eve's departure from Eden, the first exile from perfect closeness to God. Yet even then, a promise of return is given. Abraham is called to leave his homeland and become the father of a nation that will bring blessing to all families of the earth. The exodus from Egypt is the great archetype. A nation enslaved and degraded is redeemed with signs and wonders, given the Torah, and brought into covenant with God. Taken out of a physical bondage and given a spiritual a freedom that's based on the only true freedom that we could achieve here, which is spiritual freedom, right? Money is good. I mean, who doesn't want money in their account? But money without a higher purpose or higher living or, a higher obedience to a higher power is, I mean, it's also a form of physical bondage, right? Person that's just living for themselves without a devotion to a higher plan. Um, I think we've seen what that leads to. It leads to worship of the self. The prophets repeatedly promise that after every descent comes a greater ascent. The ultimate vision is a world where the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of God as the waters cover the sea, a redeemed humanity living in harmony with the Creator. The Torah teaches us to see history not as meaningless cycles, but as a directed journey. Every exile contains the seeds of redemption. Every struggle refines humanity, gathering sparks of holiness that will one day shine in full light. Hasidic masters revealed the inner dynamics of this historical flow. The Baal Shem Tov taught that the entire purpose of creation is the elevation of holy sparks scattered throughout the world and throughout history. Every era, every culture, and every human endeavor contains sparks waiting to be redeemed through goodness, creativity, and connection with God. The Alter Rebbe and later teachers explained that societal evolution follows the pattern of Yerida Letzorich Aliyah, a descent for the sake of a greater ascent. Humanity must descend into materialism, confusion, and fragmentation so that the sparks hidden in those dark places can be elevated. The birth pangs of redemption, which include wars, upheavals, and moral struggles, are painful but necessary contractions before the birth of a redeemed world. And just a little side note here, God cannot punish you, or will not punish you, for choosing to do the right thing, right? Irrespective of any agreements or any promises they made to another person to conspire in the name of like hurting other people, right? God is not going to hold that against you. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, there's no punishment for that. Um, but hurting other people and creating negative karma in the world, there is punishment for. In the Sod, the mystical level, history is the process of yichud, or reunification. The scattered sparks of divinity are gradually gathered until the world reaches its perfected state. Chassidus fills this vision with joy and hope. Even in the darkest times, the redemption is already unfolding. Every act of kindness, every pursuit of truth, every moment of genuine connection accelerates the final revelation when God will be one and his name be one. There's a day, there's a time when a click happens, when like a light switch turns on. There will be something that um, takes the blindfold that's over our eyes off of the eyes. When we come out of that cave and we see the light, we're still, I guess maybe that's the matrix, being like trapped in it. Um, Maybe that's what Adam and Eve put us in. They put us in this matrix of concealment. Um, but there's going to be a time when we move out of that. Seeing societal evolution through the lens of Torah Chassidus offers every person profound meaning. It gives purpose to history's pain. The struggles, exiles, and upheavals are not pointless. They are the necessary process of gathering sparks and refining humanity. It cultivates hope amid darkness. No matter how broken the world appears, the trajectory is toward redemption. The light is always advancing. It inspires personal responsibility. Each of us has a unique role in elevating sparks through our actions, choices, and relationships in our individual, personal lives. When it's just us and the person that we're standing in front of, right? But also on a collective. What we choose to do. Do we choose to advance the agenda of good and progress and moving things forward towards revelation? Revealing to help stop future, or do we sit back and impede progress? It reminds us that ultimate redemption is certain. The prophets and Hasidic masters assure us that the story ends in light, peace, and the full revelation of God's oneness. How can we live with this redemptive awareness in our daily lives? Look for the sparks. In every situation, ask, what holiness or opportunity for good is hidden here? Act with purpose. Contribute your unique gifts through work, family, creativity, or kindness, knowing it matters in the grand story. Maintain hope and joy. Even in difficult times, nurture trust that the long arc bends toward redemption. Build unity. Seek to connect with others across differences, gathering sparks through relationship and understanding. Live ethically and spiritually. Align your life with Torah values, justice, compassion, truth, as your distinct part in the world's repair. Pray for redemption. Include the hope for a healed world in your daily prayers and reflections. Okay? The more we connect our intention to an outcome, right? A future outcome. Um, the more we're like using our energy to manifest that. The long flow of societal evolution and the ultimate redemption, rooted in Torah and radiant with Hasidic hope, reminds us that we are living inside a meaningful story. Every era, every struggle, and every faithful action moves us closer to the world of complete light and oneness. This week, look for one way you can elevate a spark through kindness, truth, creativity, or prayer. Know that your small part contributes to the great return. If this broad vision inspired you, share in the comments what gives you hope for humanity's future, or how do you see your own life fitting into the redemptive story? Like if these words filled your heart with meaning and hope. Subscribe for more explorations of Torah and Hasidic wisdom made alive for our time and turn on notifications. May you walk your part of the journey with faith and joy and courage. May we all merit to see the full redemption soon. Until next time, elevate the sparks, trust the process, and let your life help bring the world home. And just a little side note here: you don't need to be Jewish to do this. You don't need to be Jewish to elevate the sparks. Meaning, you do not need to be to convert, right? If you don't need to convert to elevate sparks or to be a conduit of goodness and blessing in the world. God made you here. He put you here, to be you. If for some reason you personally have an inclination to convert because you want to uh, have partake in the commandments, partake in the culture, just whatever it is that's drawing you to it, that's fine. But my point is, you don't have to feel like, oh, this is like a job for a Jewish person to do, or a Christian person, or a Muslim person, or whatever it is, right? Everyone has a potential. If you have a spark of God in you, then you use that spark to connect and to do good in the world. To be a flame of goodness. Okay, enough of the preaching. I hope you have a great Thursday. Be healthy, be happy, be safe, be blessed. Um, Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, and I appreciate your support. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.